Hello, everybody, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, and welcome back to the Chatty Natty Podcast, episode 2. We've managed to make it 2 episodes in, so this is an absolute success in my book so far. Even though we almost flopped with Zack. What did you suffer from yesterday, mate? What have you diagnosed yourself with?
Heat stroke, maybe.
Yeah, that's the analysis that we've come up with. Yeah. Thank you, everyone, obviously, for the support on the first episode. I think me and Zack were just talking about it before we press record, and yeah, pretty happy with the response and the amount of views and everything for the first episode. Definitely nice for us to see. And yeah, motivates us to kind of keep this going. And I mean, we enjoy talking always, but it's nice to hear that other people, I got some nice messages from people.
Yeah,
I'm sure you did too.
Yeah, when I got to the gym, there was quite a few people that come up to me and said, really enjoyed the podcast.
Oh my God, is that Zack from the Chatty Natty Podcast? What the?
Mate,
oh my God.
We've made it already.
Yeah, big time, mate. We're big time with our 160 views or whatever it is.
167.
I think it highlights an interesting point though. Like I've always said to you about one thing I really dislike about Instagram is that you get people's attention for 7 seconds.
Yeah.
And that's the economy there. It's just like, right, let me say something controversial or I have to look crazy versus like the 160 people who watched that podcast. In total, I think it's like 13 hours worth of consumption.
Yeah.
That's amazing in my books. Like people have sat there and listened to us chat on about would you rather have your sister or your girlfriend have an OnlyFans?
Walking in some baked beans.
Yeah, exactly.
God.
Like absolute nonsense. Anyway, thank you everyone for your support. We definitely plan to keep this going. We're enjoying it. We enjoyed the first one. Zack, how's your week been, mate? Let's update the people on what you've been busy doing.
Yeah, I mean, like I said to you, literally off the camera, I feel like I've blinked and then we're already on another podcast. It's just been a week already. Obviously, it's been about 34 degrees all week, so I feel like I've just died and resurrected. It's been hard this week. We're just not built for the heat, are we? Let's be honest.
The Brits, definitely not. And I think like even bodybuilding in this kind of weather.
Yeah, like when you're in the off season, like and you're eating, 4,000 calories a day. I mean, I'm not at the minute, but I hate being peak off season in the summer. It's just the worst, because you're just slogging away at the rice bowl. And then,
mate, I've had a few.
Never ended.
I've had a few instances this week, and I'm not in an off season at all either. I'm dieting at the minute, and I have like resorted to cold cream of rice.
Oh,
just to cool myself because I literally ate before we got on here, and then you can see my forehead, mate. I am like soaking wet. I look like I've been in a pool, and it's because I've just been sat there eating like beef and rice, and I've heated it up. Obviously, it's not an enjoyable process for sure.
Yeah, I mean the best thing about like I don't know, I suppose just frozen fruit. Frozen fruit in this heat is the best thing ever.
It's a godsend. I don't know how, like, obviously I came to Corpus the other week and I saw on, Ethan, I saw on his story. Saw on his story the other day that it was like 38 degrees in Corpus.
Yeah.
And I was thinking that day that we trained legs, I reckon that was over 40 degrees in that back
easy.
room. Yeah, mate.
Yeah. We chose the hottest day of the year to just absolutely
to do that.
Pull 10 legs and just give each other like force reps for the lot.
Yeah. Not enjoyable, mate. I'm still recovering from that.
It was mentally.
Yeah, it's
traumatic
fun.
Experience.
It's always fun, and the thing I always find funny about those sessions is like every single time I reach a place where my body just does not want to be there. It's like in full on flight mode. It's like I need to get out of here as quickly as possible. I need to like flee this place because like I'm actually on the edge of probably like a hospital trip or something. I even said to you in the session, I was like, mate, fuck off because I am gonna die. And then it's funny.
You carried it through.
I did. I was proud of myself for that. But then you get home and like a few hours go by and like you're like, oh, okay, like now I feel normal again. And it makes you feel like annoyed at yourself for being so like panicky in the moment, because like you know that in 6 hours time you're going to be sat there with your feet up and
Mate, I don't know about that. Every time that I finish a leg session, I'm like, oh my God, like I genuinely feel like I've just been hit by a bus.
Yeah.
Like the worst of it is when, say, like you've still got loads more you've still got like some more check-ins to do,
Yeah,
or
you're
you've
just
got
zombies.
even in work, and then you're like, oh my God, like I have literally just killed myself off.
Yeah,
And you're like,
I've
you find a way. I just have a coffee or something like that, and just get it done.
little white
But I'm
monster.
like dead to the world.
My last night I did legs, and I would say like muscle heart is nowhere near. It's well, actually, right. It's a bit tricky because it's not as hot. Like if it was just you and me training in muscle heart versus just
Yeah,
you and me training in corpus. Corpus is a warmer place to be, but because muscle heart gets like busy in the evenings, it's the body heat. Like people's body heat just warms up the room.
yeah.
Yesterday I did legs with my boy Jack. We absolutely
Okay,
smashed
yeah,
the
yeah,
pants off of it. Wicked session. And then I've gone and trained with someone this morning at 8 a.m. And then I've had like PTs. I've come back. I've gone to the city centre. I've come back now to do this, and I'm going back for PTs later. And it's just like,
yeah,
whoa, whoa, whoa. Like you start. I remember I said to you a long time ago that when I started to understand like the routine of PTs, I had a lot more empathy for you when you were like maybe not getting back to me as quickly as I wanted you to or something, because you have days where you're just like,
yeah.
I don't know what's
It's
up,
hard.
down. I've not eaten for 6 hours. Like, yeah, you are
Yeah.
running around like a headless chicken on some days.
I don't think people actually like realize, because there's so much to. I mean, this job as a coach, you know, it's not literally just doing your check-ins. It's also all of the form clips. It's, you know, and also like when you bodybuild as seriously as you do, and then you
Yeah.
in your meals, and then you know you're trying to be on time with all of that. It's and then you're running a house and you've got stuff to do here. It's like,
Yeah.
mate, it's just never it's never ending. I mean, like obviously we renovated basically our whole house. I mean, you know, like when we've had like big jobs to do and things, like it's hard to manage, but you get it done. I always just say like you do the hardest job first, or do your biggest priority job first as soon as you wake up in the morning, you know, and just get just get like the bulk of it done, so then you can actually focus on your own bodybuilding, your own processes and other things that you've got going on.
It's interesting, the whole like view on the coaching industry as a whole, I reckon, because certainly when I started getting the idea of like, you know, this is something that I would like to do and something I'd like to pursue, and I started really small scale like 3 years ago with 4 mates or whatever. And you do, because they're your mates, they're obviously going to be quite decent towards you as human beings. They're going to consider, are you all right? Is this too much to ask for? And all of those things.
Yeah.
And then as you get deeper and deeper into it, I do think there's like like, I look at someone like AJ or someone like Adam Powell, and I'm like, they look like they've just got it on the surface. They look like their lives are like perfect, right?
Mm-hmm.
Money in the bank, loads of clients, doing what they love, driving the cars they want, all of that good stuff. And then you start to experience a bit of it yourself, and it's like they're always on.
Yeah.
Like non-stop. They'll be on their phone, texting, doing whatever they need to do. And I've certainly started to experience that a bit. Like we went away at the weekend just gone, and it's really, really hard to switch off.
Really hard. Definitely. It's the thing that I struggle with the most. I mean, because
one thing, just quickly, mate, can you move your fan a little bit further away?
Yeah.
I can just hear it in the background, and I don't want to see, listeners, I'm looking out for you guys. I'm looking out for your eardrums. Zack, you need to get one like this, mate. You need to get one of these bad boys.
The best fan in the world.
Perfect.
Jesus. Does that even blow air?
It blows really, really hot air that just makes you even warmer than you already are.
Yeah. I was having a look on Amazon yesterday. They've got this shark one. I think it was like 270 quid. They got none in stock. I'm fuming. But it's like a cooler. It's like, oh, it just blows out like ice.
I've got a business proposal on that.
Really?
I reckon we swoop up a load of air conditioning units in Christmas.
Okay.
Get them all on sale. Get like 50 of them, and then just absolutely dominate Facebook Marketplace next summer. We'll make thousands, mate. We'll make thousands.
Facebook Marketplace is the one.
Forget about opening a gym. Forget about growing a coaching business. You just need aircon units and a good summer.
They've made an absolute mint, haven't they? I bet this summer.
But you're talking about like switching off.
Yeah. I mean, like, it's difficult. I think, I'll still be there at like 9:30, 9 o'clock at night on my phone. It never ends. But then there's always a part of you that, at the back of your mind, you're like, oh, I need to prioritize time of page.
Yeah.
I need to actually wind down myself a little bit, to get the best quality sleep. But it's just hard. I think you're almost like so stimulated by work and obviously wanting to help other people and making sure that you're delivering a good service, etc. So it's difficult, but you make it do. Obviously, you've got to love it.
Yeah, that's what I was literally about to come on to, is like the key thing to me that I see in every single coach that has achieved the level of success that like I'm currently aspiring to get to is that they just care. And like, I say this with clients all the time. And even like today, for example, I had a bit of I'm not going to call it an argument because it wasn't, but like a disagreement of a client who is dieting pretty hard and is struggling a bit with that stuff, isn't very good at like allowing themselves to rest and recover. And you can only get away with that for a certain time frame before it does kind of culminate and come to a head. And I remember that being a big point that like I was kind of getting across to this client, is like, I really care. And I think you're the same. I've experienced it. Like, when you do this for yourself and you see how great of a result you can get and how much it can change your life and all these things, when you start seeing other people do that for themselves, you get so invested.
You do.
So then their messages that come through at 9 p.m. on a Wednesday, it's great. It's like when you first have like a crush and they message you, you're so excited to like text them back because it's like, fucking hell, you got a PB on the pendulum or whatever. You're like, yes, mate. Like,
you become so invested into their journey.
And check-ins every week when you see people and you're like, hang on a minute, I'm just making sure my ceiling's not going to cave in.
You're worried about that light.
I am. For the listeners, I've come back to my flat and there's a light bulb just hanging out of the ceiling, which wasn't hanging out of the ceiling when I left the flat earlier today. So a little bit concerning. But no, like the check-in thing, it's almost like and you can obviously speak to this on our working relationship as well, but like I have moments now where I see clients who've been with me for a good chunk of time. I've got a few people now whose like transformations I'm kind of holding on to because I just want them to be ready to show that. But like when they check in, I'm like, wow, that's literally a different human being. That's absolutely insane.
Yeah.
And it just makes you beam, and then that's why you do it.
I think, people ask me, like, I've had a question before, like, who's my favorite client to work with? And I genuinely always say to them, I'm like, anybody that's just really willing to work hard. Because I've had some absolutely massive fat loss transformations as well, where they've been from like a really unhealthy state, they haven't even been able to run around with their kids, etc. And then you go through this journey with them, and they get to the end of it and they're like 70 pounds of body weight down, and you're like, you have genuinely just transformed your whole life. And that for me, when I'm putting them side by side together and I'm seeing all of like the physical transformation, the mental transformation, everything else that goes alongside it, and they're a better parent and they can run around with their kids and they can do all the things that they couldn't do before, or they've got more confidence to go to a swimming pool or go to a beach and just enjoy those moments instead of actually just thinking all about their body weight and their visual appearance. That is just incredible. I almost put that on par with when I put my first client on stage. Like,
no, you're right, mate. You're absolutely right. You don't realize the impact that you're having on people's lives. And I'm not sure we touched on this one in the last episode, but I've got two recent examples of that I do think would be really useful for people listening and like thinking, do I need a service like that, or do I, have I got something that's missing or whatever? I'm not going to name names, people are going to stay anonymous, but two clients, one about, I don't know, 7 weeks ago, this is one of the transformations I'm holding on to, told me that they'd stopped taking their antidepressants.
Yeah.
And I was like, that's like the most incredible thing that I could hear as a coach, because what I'm providing and the structure that I'm giving this person has meant that they've got to such a good place that they feel like they don't need to rely on that anymore. And that was, well, I mean, it was moving, to be honest. Like, you just feel like, wow, that's absolutely insane. And then another one recently messaged me explaining, and I already knew bits of this, but like explaining that their history with food noise and being almost too wrapped up in that world of calories and tracking and everything like that, they now feel like that part of their life has been solved. That part of the puzzle is full, and they don't stress about the food. They just eat what we're telling them to eat. They feel great. There's a good balance there between being able to like go out and enjoy meals with family, but also staying on track, no more binge eating, all of that stuff. And you're like, that is fucking mega.
Yeah.
You've frozen on my screen, by the way. That's going to be the
ones when they know the different methods that they need to take to be able to stay on track and still be flexible. Then that's the win-win situation. Obviously, there'll probably become a certain point of where that flexibility is probably going to have to come out a little bit, depending on
tested.
where they want to get to. But as a general sort of like fat loss client, a lot of the time you can go for a Nando's on the weekends and just like track it into MyFitnessPal and stick within your targets. It's not really going to be a big deal.
My biggest piece of advice on that, you have frozen on my screen, by the way, Zach. I don't know why, but I can still hear you and everything. Yeah, you're just putting a really stern look. I'm hoping you're going to snap back into frame at some point, but I can still hear you. So the advice I always give on that is like really simple. When a client comes to me and they're like, oh, I've got this at the weekend, I've got someone's birthday, there's a barbecue and yada, yada, yada. I'm just like, don't be a twat. As simple as that might sound, and as like, wow, I thought he was going to give me the secret to how to diet and still socialize. No, it's just like, you've still got a goal you're working towards. Have fun, enjoy yourself, but don't have like 27 margaritas and like do a hot dog challenge.
A 10,000 calorie challenge.
Just like calorie bank a little bit, eat some normal food that you can eat throughout the day, and then when you go to the barbecue, just don't overdo it.
It's easily done. I think when you have aspirations of being the most competitive bodybuilder that you can be, also take these things into consideration. But I think especially if you're in like a prep or like a pre-prep diet or something like that, just be a bit more mindful of things like that. But it depends on your goals.
Definitely for lifestyle clients as well. Like that's the balance that I'm definitely navigating at the minute. Is I always talk about spectrums. I love a spectrum. And in terms of like intensity towards this part of life, if this is like the low end and this is like AJ Morris, Captain Natural Robot Bodybuilding, I put myself like here. And I say to all my clients, like, my goals are to be as good as I can be as like a natural bodybuilder. So you need to look at what I'm doing and take inspiration from it. But you're probably back here somewhere. It's not that deep, right, when it comes to their sort of things.
I mean, you just got to work with the individual for who they are. I think genuinely when I first signed up with AJ, I mean, I was people probably won't actually realize like my introduction into bodybuilding, I was genuinely just a typical lad that used to love going out on the weekends. Like,
Yeah.
I,
Party boy.
yeah, I was. Like, I went to Zante when I was 19. Like, I used to go out every weekend with like me and my best mate, like Jack Jones. And I'm, like I'm still, like, he generally is my best mate. I love them to pieces because they still give normality into your life. I'm not
Yeah.
saying bodybuilding isn't normality because it is, but I almost need that little bit of time to step away from bodybuilding
Yeah,
at times.
absolutely.
And I think that's a really important thing.
I think
For
it's
sure.
really good for people who one of the biggest things, like for me in the last 9 months or so, where I've gone self-coached, and I've spoken to you about this in private before, but like taking the stress element away from the process.
Yeah.
And I think that ties into like the normality, like understanding that yes, there's a path that others have walked to get success within this world, whether that's running a successful coaching business or, becoming a sponsored athlete or becoming a world champion natural bodybuilder. There's paths that have been laid that if you wanted to follow that framework, then you can, and you'll probably get a good way doing that. However, within this sport, I think it's so important that you stay true to who you are.
Yeah.
And if
Yeah,
you start
definitely.
feeling that slip, that is a big, big red flag. If you're starting to, lose friendships that are really important to you, or you're starting to feel more social anxiety spring up because, oh, well, I can't go to this thing because I've got to do my steps, or I've got to do that. And that in turn, in my opinion, is going to do more damage to your bodybuilding journey than just chilling the fuck out and doing those things.
Yeah.
Because
You'd end up just resenting.
yeah. And if your stress is high, like that, it has such a domino effect with everything else.
Yeah. And I coach a lot of young lads, and I always say to them, like, if you have a lad's holiday, go out and enjoy it, and
Yeah, man.
do it how you want to do it, because I would never want them to look back on these years and be like, oh, I regret never going on a lad's holiday. I regret never doing this. And obviously, how passionate people are about natural bodybuilding at such young ages now is incredible. But do I think going on a lad's holiday is going to steer away, years for the progress? Of course it's not. You're just going on holiday and you're just enjoying yourself and you're doing it how you want to do it. But you have also got a lot of young lads now who are just installed with the athlete mindset. Like Will, my client is 19, is fucking unbelievably like good for his
Yeah, he's
age.
great.
Like he Smith machine mid incline presses like 3 plates in his off season. Like he's
shit,
sick,
man.
and
19.
I hadn't even done that, and I'm 27.
Yeah.
But
I'm gonna retire.
he's literally just come back off a lad's holiday while he's in prep. And he managed it all really well. It was just having cream of rice because I don't think he had much of a kitchen, and then he would make like tuna. He was having just a lot of tuna and just macro
Mercury
matching,
poisoning.
and he'd still come back from it, and he lost a kilo, and he went to the kebab shop and just got some grilled kebab meat, not kebab meat, chicken meat.
Like chicken, yeah.
Yeah, definitely not kebab.
Yeah, he went and got a big fat doner kebab.
Yeah, but he was just doing that, and he come back and he lost a kilo, and he generally stepped forwards with fat loss like so well. And I said to him, I was like, because originally when he first comes to me, he was like, I really want to prep, and I was like, I don't think we should. Like, you've almost gone from like a peak off season straight down to a prep. But everything's going really well so far, and he's looking mega. But we've just got to still keep it like that little bit more assertive as we go throughout the prep, and we're doing a show potentially soonish, and then we're eyeing up the UK, the FBA,
man,
to compete in the teens. Which it'll be cool.
It's interesting. It's interesting. Like, I've literally just had the same conversation with Jack. He's got a lad's holiday from next week, and was asking me about like how should I manage it? How should I do this? Da 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 da. And I literally said to him, we were talking about food. We got through that bit. And he's like, well, what about, booze and stuff? And I was kind of sat there like, and this is my opinion. He's in a gaining phase at the minute with intentions to prep next year. My stance on this is like, England are in a quarterfinal of a World Cup on Saturday, right? Tomorrow.
Yeah, tomorrow.
You're going to be in Portugal with your mates, like your best mates in the world. During that, they're obviously going to be on the booze. Like, yeah, get involved to a certain degree, like, but just have your line of tolerance. And as long as you're not getting like absolutely obliterated and ending up in the kebab shop with a face full of doner and like garlic chips and whatnot. But it's like I said to Jack, there's going to be times next year where you're in prep and you cannot afford to do those things.
Absolutely.
So I would much rather you get that out of your system now so that when that time comes, you're not almost looking back on it going, fucking hell, I really wish I'd have got more involved with the boys on that trip.
Yeah.
Walk your own path and all that jazz.
Yeah, no, I completely agree.
It's definitely something that I'm still, just to express a little bit of vulnerability to the people, because it's not as if like me and Zack are sat here with it all worked out. Like, you've had struggles with that, I'm sure. I've definitely had struggles with how much of a bodybuilder do I want to be right now versus how much of a boyfriend do I want to be, or how much of a son, friend, whatever it might be. And like, I'm experimenting with it right now in my own diet.
Yeah.
Great example, when I went away at the weekend.
Fish and chips, right?
Mate, fish and chips, didn't track a single macro, had a few rum and cokes, just kept my activity levels high, and came back and lost weight.
The most flexible dieter ever, you.
Yeah. But once again, I'm like, right now, to give people an update on my diet, I'm 5 weeks in and I'm like 6 kilos down. Everything's flying. And I know that towards the end of this diet, whenever that might be, I won't be able to have a fish and chips. Yeah, so I'm going to have a fish and chips now whilst I can still get away with it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the personal choice, isn't it?
It is. And that's where I think, like, and big, like, wide sweeping statement here. A lot of like podcasts and things that I listen to, a question that's often asked is like, how do we move natural bodybuilding forward? How do we bring it more people into the sport? How do we, just grow the sport in general? I think it's massively growing because of something you just said 2 minutes ago about like just kids having this like athletic mindset and wanting to strive for really big things. Another thing that I personally think will grow the sport is if there's more personalities that fit outside the box of the stereotypical bodybuilder.
Yeah, no, definitely. Yeah. I generally do think that people do overthink this way too much.
Yeah.
Like, you need to hold yourself to a high standard. Of course you do. But like, you replacing a meal, like say like, I don't know, you want an off-plan meal in your off season, you bank 1,000 calories for it. So you go and have a Nando's or Wagamama's or even burger and chips, you go have a Five Guys. Like, you just need to manage your rate of gain, really.
Yeah.
And as long as you're not doing it every day, you're going to still see immense progress. I also think, people are too scared to eat within bodybuilding.
Yeah.
They're too scared. It's like, it's almost like a punishment to go and eat, 125 gram of dry baked jasmine rice. It's like you're eating rice, show me one person that's got like obese off eating rice. Like,
that's such a good point.
It doesn't happen. You're eating oats. You're eating rice. You're eating potato.
Yeah. Show me a morbidly obese man who's just
fat.
Yeah. That's a really, really good point, actually. Speaking of, anyway, if anybody is looking for a nice little place to get away in the UK, seaside coastal little village, Robin Hood's Bay in Yorkshire. Get yourself over there. It's very, very nice. They do great fish and chips.
There's Josh Ingram. He loves fish and chips, mate. Like, he would.
Does he?
Yeah.
Yeah. He looks like a fish and chips man.
He's all over it.
I bet he puts a lot of vinegar on his chips.
Yeah, he's that kind of guy, isn't
Drowning in vinegar, I reckon they would be.
he?
Yeah,
Loads
brilliant.
of salt. Yeah, good stuff.
Right,
Right,
should we get into Go on, you go. No, go on.
I was gonna ask you how your week's been. Really, like, been a good
Oh,
week.
yeah. What have I done this week? What are we on Friday?
We are.
Yeah. Well, diet's going well. I've been at the local coffee shop about 4 out of 5 days this week, just meeting people for coffees. It's one of my favourite things to do, to be honest. But they must think I'm mental in there. I reckon they think I don't do anything, like I'm a drug dealer. I think they probably do think I'm slanging dope, because
Probably.
I'm sat out there at all weird hours too.
9 o'clock at night.
No, it's like the middle of the
no
working
coffee
day
because they're not open anymore.
Yeah, yeah. But I've done that. Caught up with my mum. Caught up with a couple of mates. Training's been good this week. It's probably the first time in the diet where I've felt a little bit like, I don't know what the right word to say is, and you're probably just going to call me a massive pussy, but it's good to have a bit of yin and yang on this podcast, isn't it? Like legs yesterday, I'm trying some new things. I'm trying no sleeves is something I'm trying, because I kind of realised, so last week I trained with a member in our gym who's like a powerlifter. She's an absolute unit. And like, she was very no sleeves and all this stuff about, strong tendons and strong ligaments and things. And I think it kind of I was already thinking about it. And I realised the only reason I'm still using my knee sleeves is because during when I did my knee on the hack at Corpus, that's the only reason I'm wearing them, is out of fear of when I was recovering from that, they were really helpful. But now, like, truth be told, I don't need them. But yeah, training's gone really well. I'm actually very happy with how I'm looking at my current body weight. Yeah, I'm rocking and rolling, mate. Busy too, to be fair. Busy, like, business-wise, which is a blessing. Even though, like we said earlier, you can be here, there, and everywhere. Better to be here, there, and everywhere than nowhere at all. So,
100%. I'm in the same position. Like, this last month of coaching, couple of months, has been fantastic. Probably
having
some of the
said that, guys,
that
if you want to look for coaches, join me and Zack.
Link in description.
Yeah, we're not so busy to the point where we can't take more people on.
Yeah. I think, to be honest though, like, a point that you said about the knee sleeves, I'm actually quite passionate about that.
Oh yeah.
Because and it's the same with belts. Like, you just become so reliant on them.
Yeah, and I agree.
They actually, I had knee issues when I was like 19, and it was because I was trying to push like 400 kilos on the matrix leg press when I was training at Pure Gym, and probably doing it like pretty, not poorly, but I definitely wouldn't say it was probably the best. And I had knee issues when I was, probably like about 18 as well, and I was back squatting twice a week and probably doing 150 for 3, and then like I'd attempt 160 for 1 on like Friday. Do you know what I mean? I was just being
battering.
Yeah, and then got a bit of tendonitis or whatever. But after I recovered from that tendonitis, I always stayed without knee sleeves. And I genuinely think it was one of the best things that I ever done for my knee health.
Yeah,
because you actually do strengthen up everything around it, all the connective tissues and stuff. And, even when you suddenly rely on, say, double ply sleeves, and then you're trying to push for logbook numbers that you never pushed before, I actually think you're going to walk into a lot more issues than what you think.
Trouble. Yeah. For sure.
And then you've got to revert back to not having these sleeves again. Or you just continue with like single or double ply, and you stay there for the rest of your life and just have really shit knees for the rest of your life.
And I also think a big part of it is like, it's just a massive placebo. Like, if you are on those single or double ply sleeves, realistically, how much are they actually doing for like the strength curve of the movement that you're on? Like, the difference between having the sleeves on and having the sleeves off. I mean, I literally discovered this last night because my Cybex squat press last week was like 340 for 5 with sleeves on. this week I did 360 with sleeves off.
Yeah.
So it's like it's very much so a mental thing of like just trust in your body. I talk about this a lot with people in Muscle Hut as well, like with range of motion. Just people need to have more faith in their body's ability to get into those ranges and get out of those ranges.
Yeah.
It's huge.
If you never enter that range of motion, then the joint is never going to get, the connective tissue around it is never going to get stronger.
There we go.
I would rather a client get into that range and then just be weak.
Yeah.
And for them to build it up.
Yeah.
Than for them just to avoid it and then not to get into that range.
Oh, mate, when I see someone in the gym like loading up, I'm going to say silly numbers, but I mean, it doesn't have to even be like crazy heavy, but anything like on a Cybex squat press, if someone's loading up anything more than 6 plates and then they're quarter repping it, I literally look at them and I'm like, my knees hurt watching you do that. Because I just know how much pressure is going through the joint as opposed to going through the muscle.
Yeah.
And that's how people get hurt.
It can be.
Simply. Yeah. In a lot of cases, that's how people get hurt. And they wonder why.
When Will first signed up with me, I mean, he'd come into Corpus. His like when he was training, he was like back squatting 200 kilos, and then but getting like 90 degrees. He probably wasn't breaking past parallel, but I was still fucking blown away, mate, because I was like,
of course.
You're genuinely like the reason why, teens are just getting so fucking good is because you've got that mindset of just attacking it. And he's definitely, got a lot further within his journey from having that mindset.
That's interesting you bring that up too. Yeah, absolutely. I think there has to be like a happy medium, right? Where when I was working with you, we definitely certainly operate off of principle of like your fundamentals need to be sound and you need to become a better athlete in the gym in terms of like moving things with intention and moving things into the right range of motion and all like that for me was a massive thing when I first started with you because my training was pants. But when you really like break it down, a lot of it is to do with like your minerals, like how much can you actually just get into those moments where things really start to suck and just firm it. Do you know what I mean? Like I always say, yeah. 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 And you have to break through that. You have to break through to like, yeah. 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 You're proud. Yeah. 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 I've got some to go up today, to be fair. Yeah. Yeah. It's but it is. I always say to people, like, in terms of what would you rather have from a client? Would you rather have a client that stays in this box and this safety net of like my form's immaculate and I'm leaving a few reps in reserve because I don't want things to get messy? Or would you rather have a client that is screaming their head off, bursting with blood pressure because they're trying to get every single thing out of their body? I know my answer, and I think I know your answer as well. Yeah. It takes you, in my opinion, like, because there's going to come times, and I certainly had this towards like the back end of prep, where I remember saying to you one day, like, I can't leg press anymore because I feel like my body is just going to break. And I remember saying to you, like, I'm going to do the Panatta, like, horizontal, whatever it is, at Corpus. And I remember you being like, no, you're not. And this, that. And I said, I think we came to the agreement of like, well, watch me do a couple of sets on it and see my legs afterwards. And that was the compromise, was like, I'm still going to that level of intensity. Yes, it's not ideal because would a Cybex squat press be better? I think so. But if I can't do the Cybex squat press without feeling like I'm going to explode, you have to, you know, navigate things a bit. Right? Not too shabby. Not too shabby. Yeah. Yeah. Madness. Madness. It was fucked. But that's for people listening and for people who are wondering like what we're talking about. I mean, maybe I'll put something up later, but the sessions that you will have seen me and Zack do together, like the other week, we used to do that twice a week, every week. And that is what grew my legs from the pre-prep. Because when we finished the pre-prep, I was still living in London, wasn't I? And then I moved back at Christmas, and then we started training together when I was in Corpus in January. It yeah, drastic. Yeah, for sure. Nah. Yeah, 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 for sure. Yeah, big finner. Mm, yeah, yeah, yeah. another another place. Yeah, yeah. Mate, it's like when someone, you know, the way I describe it is it's like you can walk into a room that is that place for you, right? So wherever that mental state needs to be, if it's channeling anger, if it's channeling like extreme sadness, whatever it might be, as long as it's like emotion that you can channel into something that is going to enable you to do things physically that maybe you wouldn't be able to if the baseline was lower. You walk into that room and that's your space. You're familiar with that. So it's nothing new. And then it's almost like there's other people out there that just open a door that you didn't even know was there in the room. And they poke their head through and they go, do you want to come in here? And do you want to come and see what's in here? And you're like, oh, I don't know if I do, but yeah. Oh, mate, like there's some, but I think a lot of that can be like circumstance driven. So I can definitely point to some times in my life where like I've had something happen that's enabled me to like really get there. Great example, like I think probably one of the only times that I've actually like shed tears in the gym and on a set was after my nan passed away. And I was literally, it was like probably a week later, 2 weeks later, listening to a song that reminded me of my nan, and it was just like, holy fucking shit, have I got some powerful emotions. Great set. Great set. And everybody's had something like that, and yeah, it's a special thing to be able to, yeah, to be able to get to. Yeah, yeah, and in a way, a different person. Yeah, something crazy. No. Yeah, of course he did. Yeah. No, no. He's in a new room. He's in a new room. Yeah. 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 I've got a new client who I PT'd today, and I said this thing to them, which I think is like a really good indicator for anyone out there listening who's thinking like, God, this sounds like what Zach and Liam are talking about sounds like something that I really want to get to. And a really good marker for that, in my opinion, is like when you're coming to these big movements like a pendulum or a leg press, something that you know is going to be really like systemically demanding. Does it scare you? Like, does the weight scare you? Because if it doesn't, you probably need to go heavier. Like where you know you're going to get to in that set. That's what I mean by that is like once you've been there enough times or once you've had someone take you there through a few like plus ones or whatever, like just breaking through that plateau of like fear and not knowing if you can handle that. When you then come back round to that movement, you should be nervous. You should feel that like, oh God, this is, this is gonna be testing. This is gonna be tough. And that if you can chase that feeling, in my opinion, this is like for me since October and like going self-coached and stuff, that's what I've been chasing on leg training and a lot of my other training as well, to be fair, is like, does this make me feel like there's a real challenge in front of me and I need to raise my standard to get there? And if it does, I'm probably on track with where I need to be. Yeah. Right. We've got about 12 minutes left. We can always go past an hour. But I think it would be a good idea to get into a couple of questions. There's not too many to go through this week. Thank you to everyone who did send questions. Right, let's do. I don't think I asked this last week. I'm pulling this one up from last week because we kind of ran out of time. But it's from my client and one of my best mates, Matt. Matt, you're an absolute legend. Quick funny thing about Matt. He went and saw Pitbull at the weekend, and he did the whole like pencil mustache, goes like he shaved his whole. He did the whole thing. Bald cap as well. The best thing about that is that Matt's already bald. So I just pictured that he's going to be at this concert with a bald cap on. Someone's going to like yank it off as a joke, and underneath he's going to be like, "Hey, yeah, gotcha." Anyway, yeah, what a boy. Matt asks, why is it better to gradually bulk rather than blast a 2 month bulk? Yeah, quick one. Yeah, 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 Hmm. I think, yeah, to kind of piggyback off of obviously what you're saying there. I know a lot of people always talk about, timelines and runways and things with off seasons and gaining phases. I think the most simple way to answer that is that as naturals, building muscle does just not happen overnight. Like, it's a process that takes months and months and months, and then realistically leads into years of training and pushing your body and good nutrition for you to actually see those like night and day results where you take someone and you go, right, they had very little muscle to now they've got a significant amount of muscle on their frame. Like Zach's saying, if you try and I was definitely stuck in this cycle, like historically when I was younger, of pushing a bulk for 3 months. Bulking to me just meant, do you want to sort the dogs out? Yeah. Um, yeah, they won't, well, maybe. Um, Bulking to me in the past was like, how much food can I cram in my face? And I didn't care where it was coming from. Uh, and that's why I always end up getting fat and calling it short and then looking the same way that I did the year before when I cut down, because you're just not basically allowing your body the time to actually grow the muscle. So yeah. Mhm. Yeah, it's desperate. Mhm. Yeah, we've seen it. Yeah, yeah, where you want to be. Yeah. I think perseverance and like patience within the process of bodybuilding is like super important. Just giving yourself enough time doing the right things to actually see the results that you want to see. And once you have that nailed, like once you've done that once, it kind of carries you through any future phases, because you have that to refer back on and go, oh yeah, like this worked before. I just need to trust in my ability and in that process to kind of keep working. Um, Next one from Paige, your lovely girlfriend. Um, what are your end goals? And that is a very like open-ended question. It's not what are your end goals in bodybuilding. It's just what are your end goals. Hmm. Yeah, 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 for sure. I think there's a really sweet spot, and I think a couple of the things that you've said are things that I definitely align with in terms of my goals looking forward, like business wise. I feel like if you got to the point where you had your own gym and you were also exclusively online with the coaching side of things, naturally you would fall into this pattern where you get enough interaction in person because of the ownership side of the gym. And like, you're going to have clients that come and train there. So then you're probably going to either be training with clients a lot more, or you're going to be like just jumping into spot clients a lot more. And you'd get that, like, the benefits of PT through that. So then your business is online and the gym. Those are the two like prongs or whatever you want to say. Because I agree. I certainly, like, my PT stuff has gotten a lot busier over the last couple of weeks, and it's not something that I really push. I'd say I'm still 85 to 90% online, but even that slight uptick in people wanting to do in-person sessions, it you know, if you're doing 5 or 6 in a day, it's a long day. And I know that there's people that do a lot more. I know that, you know, there's PTs at my place that do 10 in a day, and I'm like, bro, yeah, that's not, to me, that's not where the value is for me, and also the value for any clients. Like, I look at what's worked best for me, and it was being coached online. So that, yeah, it's both. It's both. But I would say my goals, my end goals. Wow, what a statement! Are quite parallel to yours. It's grow coaching to a point where I think this is a really nice goal personally, and it's a little bit insane, but so am I. Um, I would love to grow my coaching business to a point where I think less about how much money the next 10 clients would bring in. And instead, I'm more thinking about, right, that's 10 new people that I can help. I think that I heard Finn talk about this. I heard Finn and Reese talk about this a while ago, where it's like, you will reach a point where financially you don't really need to worry as much about what the business is doing. And it really becomes more about, like, how much reach can I get with this? And that's where you start looking. I mean, they're a great example. They've got the gym. Finn's got natural physique coaching, which has expanded all of that. And I think that's the dream place, is where you're like less concerned about the monetary side of the business growing and more concerned about the business growing. Also, mate, I don't know if you've moved that fan closer, but I can hear it a lot again. Yeah. All right. It's not too bad. So that's my business goal is get there, open a gym as well, probably. Yeah, and then who knows, maybe open another gym. Like, I really do think, like, something that bodybuilding has proven to me in the last 3-4 years is that you're capable of so much more than you think you are. And I think anyone who is in this position, I said this to you a long time ago, but like, I looked at people like you with an awful amount of respect as people who are self-employed and kind of doing their own thing in life and walking their own walk. And I'm now kind of getting to that path. And I think it just makes you think, well, why not? Like, why would I limit my expectations of what I can do to getting 5 more people on board? Why can't it be 50? And then so on and so forth. And I think that mindset in general, like in life, will just take you wherever you want to go. Yeah. Outside of that, outside of business, like more personal goals, I suppose, or physique related goals, let's say, because this is a bodybuilding podcast at the end of the day. Just look sick. Like, look better than I did last year, which I think I'm probably well on my way to achieving at the minute. Keep going with that. And then if the time comes and I feel like I could be competitive, go again, which I think is a good place to be in. Yeah. 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 Right. One last question. to close the podcast off, and it is an awful one. It's awful. We've this is from Ben Wilkinson. He's a lad that trains at the gym. He was in for legs last night with me and Jack, like at the same time. Ben's really, really good, by the way. I've told Ben that he needs to think about competing. But Ben will do that in his own time. He loves a would you rather, and he loves a controversial question. So it is bad. There's no reward to this, by the way, at all. It's would you rather you suck 10 dicks or have your girlfriend suck them for you? It's a lose-lose. We can just establish that straight off the bat. Yeah. So we discussed this last night, and it's with any of these questions, it's always completion. Yeah, you're not getting away with it. To completion. Oh no, no. And then we back and forth this last night a fair amount because I feel like if we're going to answer this question, we need some context. And I was saying, do I have to do it all there and then? Like, am I pulling a Bonnie Blue, or can I like spread it over like 10 weeks? So to me, and Ben was like, so you're either having like one traumatic experience or repeatedly, repeating that trauma. I personally, I'm just going to take one for the team, I think, and just do it. I'd rather do that than the other way around, personally. It is completion. It's not, mate. I'm not going to say I'm going to enjoy it. I'm not going to say I'm going to have a good time whilst I'm doing it. But what have we just been talking about with, pushing through hard things and getting into that mental space, hyping myself up preset, and I'll just go for it. Yeah, yeah, exactly. I actually had loads more questions to go through, and I've just discovered them. So uh should we go through them? You got time? Yeah, I think we should. I've still got a bit of time. So there's another silly one. We'll do the silly one. This is from Ian Talbot Balfe, of course. It's not even that bad. I've got a fly coming after me. Right. Right. You want he is. You're 1 inch inside of your mum, and your dad is 1 inch inside of you. Do you go back or forward? I mean, it's a classic. Uh, I've got my answer to this one because I think it's simple in my head. Like, me and my dad have got a very interesting relationship. No, no, like we've got an interesting relationship to the point where I will see my dad probably like once or twice a year, and but we're great. We get on great. In my head, in that unique scenario, I think that me and my dad could get through that. We'd navigate those murky waters, and then we could probably meet up for a beer 6 months later and just not even talk about it. So, yeah, yeah, absolutely, absolutely. So I'm going with, I'm just gonna go backwards towards my dad. Terrible. Yeah, yeah, that is the answer to that. It just is. Um, right, couple more. Jack, my boy. You're given. This is a really good question. You're given a blank check to purchase a new machine for your gym. What are you getting? Yeah, just a machine that you want for corpus that you don't currently have. Nah, that's a good shout, mate. Yeah. So that's kind of where my head was going. For muscle heart, hey, so for muscle heart, I would either want something like a hammer strength incline because I do like it a lot, and we've not got one. A prime leg extension would probably be on my list as well because our leg extensions are actually pretty wank, to be honest with you. Or the Dorian Yates pullover, because I used to use that at Muscle Works, and it was just pretty saucy. That motion, yeah, just amazing. Yeah, 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 yeah. We should do a day away. We'll do a day away. Yeah. So you might have some. Maybe you need to go back. Yeah, exactly. Conquer that fear. Yeah, yeah. Just one of those gyms. Mm, just have it. Yeah, yeah. Mm, yeah, yeah, yeah. A combination of things, isn't it? Yeah. Um, Jesus, that's how you know it's good. Right. Another one from Jack. Thoughts on barefoot training? Mm. Nah, trotters out in the gym is not really appropriate in my opinion. Like you don't know who's looking down at those feet. Yeah, yeah, yeah. It felt good. That's where I think those shoes that like AJ's got some. I know that Jack Kinsley Clough. Zach, you still there? Yeah. Yeah, like he uses them, and I see a couple of people. Like there's some ladies in my gym that actually I've been thinking of getting some recently. But I know that I just look like I know I'd look like a twat, but it might be a necessary sacrifice of my my not that my fashion sense is doing me any favors anyway, so it doesn't really matter. Um, yeah, my thoughts are if you're going to be going barefoot, get some of those like rock shoes that are really grippy. I think do that instead. Right. Yeah, fair play. Keep them away. Do you guys coach those who wouldn't compete and advice you have for someone starting? Yeah. Yeah. Hard truths. Yeah. Yeah. Hard truths. I think genuinely, like, and this is going to sound quite egotistical of me to say, but yes, me and Zack both do coach people who are more lifestyle clients, and I think a really good place for people to start in terms of looking for advice is like follow us. I do. I think listen to the podcast regularly. We're going to be dropping absolute nuggets of gold on this. So, and I think already have with certain topics that we've discussed. And then even just like looking at like something I'm big on and telling clients to focus on is like seek inspiration from the people that are literally in your immediate zone. So if you know someone, for example, like I know Zack on a personal level, if I then see Zack make ridiculous progress on his chest development in the next 6 months, I'm going to ask Zack what he did. And he's probably going to tell me, and then I'm going to replicate that. So I think just, you know, if we're people that you look at and think, hey, they've done pretty good with what they're doing, look at what we're doing. Pay attention to what we're doing, because Zack posts form clips, I post form clips, we talk on this, we talk on our own social medias independently, and there's a lot there I think that people could grab for free and just run in their own training. And then this goes for anyone. If you're out there and you're thinking, well, yeah, that's all well and good, but I think I still need some help, we're both available. Right. Last question. Last question, and then we'll wrap it up. This is from Jason. Opinions on AI in coaching. I did. It's a hot topic, mate. It's a hot topic in our gym this week, I would say. I've been thinking about it for a while, and I filmed those videos maybe 3 weeks ago, and I've just been kind of sitting on them. And it's mainly because I heard a couple of things from the Board Shorts and Banter podcast with Josh Croggan and Tom Stockton. And Josh was doing a little section on, he'd been to like a Gymshark shoot and was speaking with some of the younger lads there, like the influencer lads, and some of the things that he was hearing, because they were asking him, like, how do we get into coaching and how do we do this, that, and the other? And he's giving them straight answers, the kind of ones that we give, where we're like, you need to be incredibly passionate. You need to really want to do this. And he was saying that they, you know, some of them were saying, oh, no, you don't. You just plug this into Claude, and then Claude will write this plan out for you. You follow that, apply it to the clients. And he was like blown away that that's their mindset. And that's kind of where my initial thoughts on it came from. But then further to that, I'm not going to name any names because I'm not that much of a dick, but we've got a particular coach in our gym at Muscle Heart who edits the fuck out of himself on social media. Like, it's insane. Yeah. Mhm. Yeah. 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 And we all, right. So the main things for me on this, AI is never going to understand like human empathy. Okay. So if I'm a coach and a client comes to me and says, I've had my dog pass away this week, I understand what that feels like because I've been through that, or I've been through something similar. So I can make allowances and I can communicate with that client in a way that's going to benefit them. Whereas like an AI whatever. It doesn't understand that. It doesn't know what grief feels like. It doesn't know what pain feels like. It has no human emotions. It's just factoring things off of the internet to then give you its best guess. And that, like, second point, every single AI platform, if you give it a prompt, it literally scours the internet for all the information that it can get, and then it gives you the most relevant response. So we know there's been countless studies in the past that are riddled with like misinformation, riddled with just, you know, stats that are based on like a sample size of 100 people, not the general population. So what AI is then doing is it's pulling its figures and its data from all these unreliable sources, putting it in together in one package and then giving that to you, and it doesn't have a clue who you are. You know what I mean? Like it's so bad. The last thing, and this is the point that I think is like overwhelmingly the most important thing to me, because the AI isn't actually the problem. It's not the AI's fault that it exists. It's the people that are using it to manipulate other people's mindset and perspective of them. If someone, like if you see me or Zack ever post a physique shot and it looks like we've put on 50 pounds of muscle overnight, your red flag should be going mental. Every alarm bell should be ringing like crazy, because that's just someone who's portraying a false version of themselves. And like I said in my post on Instagram, like our job as coaches, in my opinion, is to get people to a place of real happiness with their own body image, not to lie to people to get them to buy coaching packages. And, you know, yeah, that's my 2 cents on it. I think down the line, there's definitely a place for AI within coaching businesses, in terms of like having an AI that helps you manage your calendar, or having an AI that helps you manage your finances and all of that. Like that's all coming, whether we like it or not. But when it comes to the fundamental interaction of coach to client, that is so important that it stays human, in my opinion. Yeah. Yeah, yeah, for sure. Hmm. Yeah. 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 And then you almost get lost in that world of like, oh, well, it's worked. And it's like, okay, but you've basically just left everything on the table. Yeah. You're just blind to it. Cool. I think that wraps us up nicely. Nice little 1 hour, 20-minute episode. Yeah. Right. Thank you for tuning in and listening, everybody. If you could subscribe to us on Spotify and YouTube, that would be massively appreciated. I don't think we've got any real major goals for like subscriber numbers and things like that, have we? We just enjoy chatting. Let's see where it takes us. Yeah. Yeah. Huge. We're coming for Joe Rogan. You better watch out. You better watch out. We'll have him on. Yeah. 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 Brilliant. For sure. Yeah, mate. Me too. Me too. We're easy to please. Cool. Right. Until the next one, Zack, I will see you next week. And listeners, you will hear from us next week.